let's start with the Lucknow court actually, you know
Right,
what, Pankaj?
absolutely,
Because
Kabir.
firing inside judicial institutions is something that is, it's appalling. I'm at a loss of words
we have it.
for what you see. Inside the High Court,
Uch Nyayalaya.
you've got people who are brandishing guns. And firstly, I mean, first and foremost, how did they enter inside with the guns?
Right.
Secondly, you've got visuals. There's a policeman that's also been injured. What are the salient details of this particular case? And then probably we can expand this discussion into why do we even have guns in judicial institutions, be it the Rohini court where a shootout happens or somewhere else where a security guard has brandished a gun to disperse the crowd. He shoots in the ground below and the ricochet just like ends up harming and injuring people around him.
Right.
What happened in Lucknow? Let's just talk about Lucknow at first.
In High Court in Lucknow, a gangster called Sanjiv Jeeva was gunned down by unidentified assailants. Now, who were those unidentified assailants? Well, they were disguised as lawyers, something that has been tried and tested before as well in courts in other parts of the country as well. And inside the court premises, the assailants opened fire and it resulted in the death of Sanjiv Jeeva, and a young girl was also reportedly injured. Now, who is Sanjiv Jeeva? He is a trusted lieutenant of Mukhtar Ansari. Well, that name rings a bell, who was facing charges in the murder case of BJP leader Brahmadatta Dwivedi. He was brought to the Lucknow court, Sanjiv Jeeva, for a scheduled hearing, and Jeeva has been already involved in multiple criminal cases. Preliminary reports, Kabir, indicate that the shooters managed to escape from the scene after carrying out the fatal attack on Sanjiv Jeeva. So they managed to flee.
This is exactly what one wants to hear, right? You've injured a policeman. It's Mukhtar Ansari's henchman of sorts that's been shot at.
High value,
Mukhtar
high
Ansari,
value.
who's just gotten his sentence after about 32 years of fighting that particular trial.
Right.
And after that, you understand and you get to know. And I understand that there's a lot of crowd there. I mean, because it is an appalling situation. You know, people get excited also. Bhai, goli chali, goli chali. We saw the same in Saket Court as well, where a woman was running around. You had a man with a gun that was running
Chasing her down.
chasing her down. And people are just watching. I'll tell you what, it's so apathetic that people really pick out their mobile phones also, and instead of dialing the police, they open their cameras and start video recording the entire instance. And the fact that the people who've brandished this gun, who've shot this person, have been able to flee completely from a court, a high court in Lucknow. I mean, and this is not trying to cast any aspersions on the ruling dispensation in the state of Uttar Pradesh. We all know that the Yogi hefty hand has dealt a heavy blow to the mafia in the state, be it encroachment, be it bulldozers running here and there. The Atiq Ahmed case, that got quite sensational as well. But people running away from a court after shooting somebody.
People running away, Kabir, is obviously is after effect and after math of the crime. And my point of view is here, first the entry, how it happened. And it's irrespective, you're right, it's irrespective of the location of the court. It is happening in the national capital, let alone other parts of the country. Rohini court, then you have Saket court that you mentioned, and now Lucknow court, not far away from, here. So, all these things, first the entry, what were the checks and balances, what were the mechanisms put in place to check those who are coming, whether they are carrying arms or not, whether someone is carrying some other weapon or not. And then we have in the courtroom scene, obviously they open fire and they kill the target, Sanjiv Jeeva, as they had been entrusted, the job was entrusted, and then they flee the scene as well. So the thing is, are our courts really prepared to handle such situation? And Kabir, I am surprised to know whether these criminals are taking cue from the movies or whether movies are being made on such incidents, because this is something which has immediately, very recently has picked up pace. This kind of, modus operandi, get guised as a lawyer, carry a weapon, and I would say, I don't think the guards would dare search a lawyer, because such is their rutba. When you talk about their rasukh in the court, and in smaller towns, it's all the
it's not even about that rutba that you're talking about, that
who
aura
will
that,
frisk them? Who will frisk them? So it's very easy.
The idea also is, and because I speak to a lot of lawyers, who are my friends as well, they say that, everybody's rushing inside the court. They're saying, "Mera time aa gaya, meri date lag gaya, mera item number aa gaya, judge sahab baith gaye hain." And that's how they run inside the courtroom. And the police man and or the security guard out there doesn't really frisk them as much. You can't really say that, you know, the security people on the ground aren't really carrying out their job, aren't doing their job.
No,
because
no, they are,
clearly
but still
we've got a Jawan, a young police officer that got shot right below his knee towards the hind side of his leg. But I'm still trying to figure out what must be done. The Rohini court was not just a simple shooting, it was a complete bloodbath. In the Ludhiana court, remember when the blast went on? There was a bomb that went off in the Ludhiana court, a country-made bomb. In Saket court, we just spoke about that, and now this Lucknow court ordeal. How, I mean, in the mind of the common man outside, the court is supposed to be that place, that institution, which is supposed to give justice. And in that institution, I mean, the citadel of justice is where people are brandishing their guns. I mean, the larger message out there, something like this happening in Yogi's land, in Yogi's Uttar Pradesh, where many have said that, you know, the way Yogi has been successfully dealing with the mafia, this is a complete contrast picture, isn't it?
Well, it is definitely, and in the citadels of justice, if such an event would happen, my question is, where would people go from there? I mean, if you are facing, say, a murder charge, or a criminal is facing a murder charge, he is being produced in the court, someone else kills him. Now, there is another person who is on the run who is facing murder charge. Where will you take him? To the court? Again, the court is becoming a place. I know we cannot be painting, all the courts with the same brush, but at a highly sensitive, locations like a court, if such an event happens, then obviously, beyond doubt, there is something terribly, terribly wrong within the system. And look at the policeman. He's limping. He's been shot in his knee, possibly from the backside, and the cops are helping him.
There's a minor girl also that got injured. The reports that are doing the round. We must tread carefully in the in terms of the information that's now coming out of Lucknow at the moment. There's a minor girl that's been injured, and this gangster,
Sanjiv
Jeeva, he's been shot dead. Mukhtar Ansari's henchman per se.
Well, since the time, Kabir, and our viewers would also, find a connect here. Since the time Atiq Ahmed was shot dead in the court complex, that was something that opened the eyes of the police and the general public on the safety parameters, not just within the court premises, but also of the convicts, of the culprits. Now, in situations like these, when we have gun-toting lawyers disguised as lawyers, gangsters disguised as lawyers on the prowl, it becomes very difficult to actually provide security and, as far as you are outside the court or police compound premises. But now, since you are in a court complex, there should be an external periphery of security that is also there. Court places are not public places. Yes, you can visit there, but only if you have some work to do there. Not like you can go there as a park or something like that. So, for people who are going there, must be frisked, must be a token for entry, all those things bypassed. Obviously, there was no searching of the, assailants.
Clearly,
Pankaj, clearly. They had the guns. And also, I mean, why don't we ask our, viewers here, they could go to the YouTube chat box and they can suggest solutions. I'm sure they will be quite genuine, ingenious also. But yes, why don't you, put your thoughts in the chat box and suggest how better the courts can be made safer in the country.
I'm just going through the chat box right now. It seems like, Pankaj, Manipur is a sensitive issue and people are really angered. How do you placate people in Manipur is a completely different ballgame altogether. And we've been doing constant discussions. Many thanks for all the viewers who are constantly, connecting with News9 Live for all updates that are coming out of Manipur. The idea is to represent both the sides. The idea is to bring you the expert voices so that you can understand what's really happening in Manipur. But coming back to Lucknow, and we have a couple more stories to go at as well.
Right.
I think the bottom line in this particular case is that there needs to be reformation. We need to come to terms with the fact that our citadels of justice aren't just that safe anymore. Everyday conversations between college mates or students, about how this place is so crowded. It'd be so easy to carry out an attack over here.
Right.
It'd be so easy to carry out an attack at a railway station where people are, and it would only make sense that, you hit places that are really crowded. So in a crowded place like a court, and trust me, I've been to several courts, those places are hustling and bustling. You can't even make sure who's standing next to you at that particular point in time. And people are walking in. Is all that you need is a barrister's what the neck piece? I'm forgetting the name, the actual terminology for it. The collar,
the small
and
collar tie sort of thing that they wear.
You have the black overall. Is that all you need? Is that the disguise? Is that enough? That's the question that one must ask. And if you have any opinions for us, do let us know in the comment section below.